Jill from Harmony Mountain Eco Farm, and it's that time of year again when we have to start our birds. And this will we're getting some Cornish crosses, they're meat birds, and we're going to grow them for about 6 to 8 weeks before we bring them in for processing. But this year, instead of using those big feeder tubs that we had used in the past, we're using these brooder boxes that my husband has made. Bill, can you turn around just for 2 seconds? This is a new feeder water system Bill saw that we're going to put together in just a second. But if you would just explain kind of what you did with these brooder boxes so that, anybody else who wants to do them. You found this on YouTube?
Yeah, Lumnar Acres YouTube channel.
Right.
Basically, it's a very simple design that you can take apart when you're done with it. So you can set up your brooder, and then when you're done, and they've grown, you can break it down, and it doesn't take up a lot of space.
I love this, and I like how high the walls are as well, so that the birds don't fly out. Not that they fly out all that much, but they do reach a certain age where they do, and we just never know how cold it's going to be, so if we have to keep them in here a little bit longer, we can. So where did you find this feeder waterer system?
Also on Al's YouTube channel, Lumnar Acres.
Lumnar Acres?
Lumnar.
Lumnar.
L-U-M-N-A-H.
Yeah.
Lumnar.
If you ever get a chance to watch his YouTube channel, it's lots of fun. Lots of great ideas that we've implemented.
This is a really cool feeder because this angle here prevents the birds from sitting on top and pooping their feed. And it's a good size for chicks. Like a 5-pound of feed can fit in.
Right. Well, yeah, we have this problem with the chicks. They definitely, they poop and everything. And then you have to clean it out daily. The water, a lot of times the shavings will get into the water and clog up your automatic water feeders. So they're not really automatic, but they're like a drip type things. So
this has a little float in it, right? Mm-hmm. So you fill up your 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah.
You attach your feeder line to the float, and then to the bucket. The bucket can sit up top, and then these are suspended down below.
Right. So
you're not having to dig it out every time you need to change the water.
And it's not that easy for me anyway to carry around a 5-gallon pail of water up here all the time without spilling it all over the floor. And at some point, this might be a usable room, so we don't want to destroy it completely. I think it should be a goat nursery, but Bill doesn't happen to agree.
No, I absolutely
It
not.
may become a goat nursery, because this might be, maybe we could build a few more of these for our little goats that are coming soon. That would be awesome, Billy. It's nice and warm, and I could put a cot in here so I could bottle feed them in the middle of the night.
There you go. Sounds like a plan.
It is a plan. Get going on. I would love to. To complete our project, we need to put a thin layer of shavings on the bottom of our brooders. And I had mentioned earlier that we want to do a thin layer because the chicks will often get those shavings into their water, into their feed, and it'll clog up the water and clog up the feed. So we want to give them the right amount of bedding. The reason we're trying this new watering system that I kind of like, they're small and they're out of the way, is that a lot of the waterers I've had leak miserably. And you don't want to have wet shavings because it does breed bacteria. It's unhealthy for the chickens. So if you don't want to be cleaning the shavings out all the time, you just have to get the right watering, the waterer done. We've been through almost every type of waterer. I even put down those rubber feeders in there for them to get watered, but that was not a good idea because the chicks will get into the water and sometimes drown. It doesn't happen a lot. I think that may have happened to 1 or 2, but it was something I don't want to repeat, so I keep trying new waterers. One of my favorite ones is almost like a bucket, and it has a snap-on top, and then the tray for the water, but the floating device allows the water in and out. That's okay. It works all right. It's not the best. but I haven't found the best either. So maybe some of you have a better idea. But watering containers, I struggle with them, and it just might be what it is. The other thing is, you can see we have heating lamps going in, and the chicks need to be at 95 to 100 degrees, at least until they get their feathers. And we don't know how long, like I said, we will have them in here. It's just really weather dependent. After they grow their feathers here, then we put them out into chicken tractors where they're moved every day, and they have fresh ground every day and grass to kind of graze on. And so that'll happen when the weather gets a little better and they have their feathers in. Additionally, I thought I'd mention where I get my chicks from. So Tractor Supply is very expensive, and we used to buy our chicks there, but they were like $3.25 and maybe even more for our layers, and I don't even think they carry to meat birds. So it could become expensive. So I decided to start using an internet company. I think they're out of Pennsylvania, and that's Myers Poultry, and you can just find them on the internet, and then you can call them or place your order online. That order gets delivered to the post office. You go to the post office calls you, and you go and pick them up. So that is very convenient. The only thing I would mention to you is something I didn't know about, is that you really do need to look to make sure that their air vents are clear. So they might have poop or something on them, so you've got to clean out their butt plugs. They're called, or you can lose them. So make sure that gets cleaned up. And the other thing I like about Myers too is that they have these end of the season sales where you could get 100 birds, 100 meat birds for $1 a piece. So that's $100. You have 100 birds. This year I got 200 birds, and they're mixed, but that's all right. I don't mind that. That's a way I can cut costs. I'm always looking for ways to cut costs now. Before, like 2 years ago or a year ago, I may not have done that. But now that I look at costs and trying to lower cost of production for myself and for my clients, I'm finding new ways. So this is one way, and that's where you purchase your chicks. The grain is another way of cutting cost. If you buy more, of course, it costs less. And so those are your two variables, basically. You can see there I'm using a chicken pad. It's a pad to keep them warm and has legs on. It's like a little table, but they could get underneath and on top to stay warm. Much more safe than the heat lamps. So if you are going to use those heat lamps, make sure that for us, we have our smoke alarm, fire alarm in there in case there was to be a fire. Of course, we try to be as careful as possible with those heat lamps, but there is always it could happen, you could end up with a fire issue. So we try to get away from those heat lamps as much as possible. So here we are filling up the waterer, our newfangled waterer. Hopefully this will work out so that we don't end up with water at the bottom of our brooder. And it seems to be doing pretty well. You can see the water moving through those tubes, and yeah, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this all works out for us. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned everything that we've learned about raising chicks or raising meat birds and our hens. Every year, every time we do something, it gets a little bit better. And that's really the fun part of farming, is that journey of, oh, wait a minute, we could do it one step better. Or, here's an idea from this person or that person when you watch YouTube videos of other homesteaders or farmers, that there are some more practical ways of doing things and ways of cutting costs. I always love learning something new, and on a farm, you're always learning something new. You're even today when we were doing the pigs, we had to get all our pigs on the trailer today to bring to slaughter. And oh boy, was it a little bit of a hassle because I had marked the pigs that I wanted to go, and most of them being female, and that was a trip. Plus we had to get 3 boars on board as well. So we're gonna see how slaughtering a young boar ends up. That's not going to be for sale for the public. That's not going to be for commercial use. It's going to be for our use, because we didn't castrate our pigs on time, or in it, it was something we were afraid to do, so we had the vet do it, which was very expensive and not very practical. So I think everybody should learn. I'm going to have to learn how to castrate our next litter, and I'm going to get them off the farm as quickly as possible, and then save some feeders for our meat clients. So I hope this was informative, and I always enjoy my time with you folks. I appreciate you watching. Have a great day from Harmony Mountain Eco Farm.